Hello, I'm back. Well, so far we talked about the expressions of size and shape, but right now we're gonna be talking about expressions of appearance and character. Well, when it comes to questions related to places in part 2 of IELTS Speaking test, as I have already told you, you gotta describe the place in details. So far, in the previous video file, you learned how to describe the size and the shape. Right now, we're gonna move towards the adjectives that help you describe the atmosphere or the vibe you receive from a place. So we're gonna be dealing with a lot of adjectives with different category, totally different from what we have already learned. So follow me, please. We're gonna go through some, let's say, adjectives, details, and technical vocabulary related to places. Let's move on. Expressions of appearance and character. Try to describe the look, atmosphere, condition, and material of a place in a more natural way. So 4 ideas here: look, atmosphere, condition, and material. Let's take a look at some example. First, try to start with the first group of adjectives, which are useful for describing the atmosphere of a place. For example, airy, well lit, and bright work well for pleasant spaces. So if the place that you're talking about is somewhere really pleasant, really interesting, you can use these 3 adjectives. But on the other hand, dingy, gloomy, and dim describe darker or less attractive ones. Now let's imagine that you move on to a cafe. As you know that these recent trendy cafes are really gloomy. They're not really bright enough. So you can use the word dingy, gloomy, and dim to describe the lighting of the place. Okay? Now let's move on to some examples. The room was airy and well lit, so it felt very comfortable. The old house was a bit dingy, with only a small window letting in light. We visited a majestic building in a city center, and it looked very impressive. So, majestic building. So instead of saying a great building, why don't we use the word majestic? It sounds more, let's say, academic, a little bit fancy, so it might help you get a better score in terms of lexical resource. Another one. The hotel was luxurious with elegant furniture and a beautiful lobby. So luxurious, talking about how fancy and how expensive a place is. One more example here. The street looked shabby. Remember, shabby means old, overused. Okay, like for example, a shabby coat I was wearing last night. But it still had a lot of character. Now let's put them into real sample answers for part 2 speech. Describe a place you visited. I like to talk about an old building I saw in the city center. It was a majestic structure made of stone and bricks, and the outside wall was partly covered in ivy. Although the building looked a little crumbling, it means that it was about to fall. It had a very significant place in the city's history. I found it very impressive because it felt both beautiful and meaningful. So you see, take a very good look at these structures and expressions. Don't you think that you can simply improve your desired band score by using all these? Of course you can. It's all about using your right cards in the test day. So if you can simply come up with some dull adjectives like great, interesting, you will never get yourself close to your desired band score. Now let's move on to the second example. Describe a hotel or a restaurant. I once stayed in a luxurious hotel that was decorated with. So this is a passive structure of a simple past tense. Better grammatical score indeed. With gold details and large paintings, the lobby was well lit and very spacious. Remember this adjective in the previous video file? Spacious means a place with enough space. Rather, you can use it rather than using the word large or big. So it felt elegant the moment I walked in. Everything looked expensive and stylish. Again, we got pairing here. Expensive and stylish. And that made the experience memorable. Let's take a look at the last one. Describing a street or area. There is a small street near my home that looks a bit shabby and dusty. Pairing, but with two strong academic vocabulary here. Shabby, dusty. But it has a charming atmosphere. Some of the old houses there are run down. It means that they're really old, that about to be destroyed. While others are freshly painted. Take a look at this adjective. This is an adjective which is made of an adverb and an adjective. Even though it is not glamorous, I still like it because it feels authentic. Oh, remember this technique, everyone? This is a contrasting idea. We say something positive, then we say something negative by the help of the word even though, although, or but to come up with some contradictory ideas. So remember, this could be a very simple strategy to come up with a better and longer answer for a part 2 or even part 1 speech. So, to make the long story short, everyone, using adjective to describe size, condition, character, the atmosphere of a place will definitely help you to get a better score. So remember, practice makes perfect. Practice these vocabulary items. Don't forget to do the quizzes, and I'll see you in the upcoming video file. Bye for now.